happening? I'm Will, and this is Pumbaa. Join us as we travel the Kentucky Adventure Tour. The CAT is a 900-plus mile loop around the hills and mountains of southeastern Kentucky. It's about 60% off-road Jeep trails, coal mining and forest service roads, and 40% rural, narrow, twisty paved roads through some of the most beautiful, remote, and rural areas of Kentucky.
Alright, we're set up. We're ready to roll. I figured I'd let you take a look at the setup for tonight. Of course, you got Pumbaa down there lounging. That's all he ever does is lounge. I got a sweet rig over here. Check this out. I figured that I would use the little octopus tripod thing that I have that's also got some other little clip that I sourced, I think from like Amazon. I don't know which company or kind it is. I'll leave a link down in the description. Then I got some firecrackers just in case there's shit off in the distance, some animals get around or something like that. I like to keep those. Of course, you got to have a lighter for that. But check this out. So I've got to charge my phone because I've got to use it. So this is another tool that I keep inside of Apple, and what it actually is basically just a big battery. And this battery here can actually jumpstart Apple if for any reason it were to die or anything like that. Now, I've got a pretty badass battery on Apple already. This is also a jump pack. So it's more than just a portable battery. This is a jump pack that can actually jumpstart Apple if she dies. Luckily, I haven't had to use it for that, but when I do use it for is a way to charge my phone while I'm inside the tent whenever I can't charge it. Because normally I would just charge it on the full-time power that Apple's got. But because I can't do that, I just bring it in here. That's the setup. About to drink a couple cold ones, watch the movies that I downloaded on Netflix, and Pumbaa and I are just gonna chill. There's a creek right behind us, and that's what I'll listen to all night. Pretty excited about that. And it's like 60-something degrees, supposed to be the low tonight, so I'm even more excited about that. Good morning, what's happening, and welcome to day 6 on the CAT Kentucky Adventure Tour. I am outside of Davisburg, Kentucky. It's Saturday, and I'm waking up to this beautiful campsite that I found yesterday with a creek running right behind it. I slept phenomenal, aside from the fact that the Coleman sleeping pad has evidently got a hole in it, so it got deflated. Luckily, I had the other little pad underneath, but it still would have been a little bit more comfortable with that other pad. It is what it is. Getting ready to pack everything up, which is going to be pretty easy because I slept in the Gazelle last night. I was able to get it dried out. Also, I was able to get the rain fly dried out right there. So I'm pretty happy about that. And yeah, man, pretty cut and dry, normal routine, making some coffee. By the way, I was going to tell you guys about this Camp Chef stove that I've been using. And let me tell you, in one word, it's awesome. It's the Mountaineer, and it puts out, look right here, 40,000 BTUs, so that's 20,000 per burner. Similar stoves such as like the Cook Partner, they only put out a total of 20,000. I think that the regular green Coleman only puts out a total of 20,000, and that's 10,000 per burner. So yeah, this is double the BTUs, man. It's got a solid construction on it. I did have one mishap with right here. One of the nut certs fell out, so I can't attach the legs, which kind of sucks, but I'll get that fixed, hopefully. I got a guy back in Tennessee that I think might be able to fix that for me, so we'll see. But yeah, aside from that, man, it is absolutely a phenomenal stove. The flame control, let me show you. That's all the way up. As you can see, the flame shooting up the side there, which is crazy. And then look, that's a simmer right there. So you can't hardly see it, but yeah, man, it goes all the way down to a little to nothing simmer. That was the main problem that I had with the Coleman stove. Coleman stove did great, but that was the main issue. Also, because it's just a simple design, it's real easy to clean, which is really nice as well. So yeah, overall, first impressions of the Mountaineer. This is the first trip I've used it on. This has been a fantastic stove so far. I can't wait to use it more and more. One last thing, if you judge stoves by how fast they boil water, you would be incredibly pleased with this one. I'll do a test on it whenever I do the full review on this stove to show you guys how quick it boils water inside that percolator there. But let me tell you, it's a whole lot quicker than anything else I've used. Putting away the tent and everything, I noticed that I was kind of weak. And that tends to happen. That's one thing that I'll say that I've found pretty quickly with doing the intermittent fasting stuff that I do. And eating the one time a day. If you're using your body and doing a whole lot of activity, you will get weak. I'll tell you guys a quick story. On Christmas of 2019, I believe it was, my mom actually invited us over to her house for the holidays. And so we were there. My mom's real big into CrossFit. And she said, well, come do the Christmas Eve CrossFit with us. Well, I had been fasting. I had not eaten for, it was probably 24 hours. And then the night before, we all stayed up drinking and having a good time. Well, then we went to CrossFit at like 7 o'clock in the morning and did one of the hardest CrossFit routines that I've ever experienced. And it was meant to be that way. Well, because I had been fasting, I nearly died. Like, I threw up the whole 9 yards. It was awful. So keep that in mind if you're gonna do any kind of dieting like this. But that's why I'm cooking. Cook some of this old 𝗬𝗵𝐺 sausage. This stuff is actually really good, man. It was one of my first videos that I ever used this stuff. I had joked about it because it says on the thing, it says 𝗬𝗵𝐺 sausage. It's great sausage. Well, they're right. All right, all packed up and ready to roll. Got the gazelle up top, got Pumbaa in the back. We're good to go. I want to point out a mistake that I made last night, partly because I don't want you guys to make this mistake and also to accept responsibility. I always say to look up before you set up your camp to make sure that there's no dead trees or anything in risk of falling onto your camp. Now, last night it wasn't storming, it wasn't windy or anything like that, but I still should have checked. And had I checked, I would have found that tree right there dead and leaning, only being held up by the other tree that also appears to be dead. This dead tree here, this dead tree here, but more importantly, the snapped dead tree that's only being held up by that dead tree. So I camped right there. There's about 4 different ways that these trees could have fallen on me. And if you can see over there, over here, over there, over there, over there, these trees fall. That could have been a bad situation last night, but luckily it wasn't. Anyway, I figured I'd show that to you guys. I don't know if you guys can see that on the radar or not, but it appears that we're going to be driving into a little bit of weather here. Yeah, we've come across a little bit of weather. This is in 𝐵𝐞𝐭, Tennessee. So the Kentucky Adventure Tour actually takes you through Kentucky, Virginia, as well as Tennessee. You see right now we're going through a little bit of storms again. Hopefully that doesn't make for a shitty day on the trails, but we'll see. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on pavement. I'll probably be on it for a good little bit here, I would imagine, but that's the current situation. But if you stayed in Shitwood Hollow, I'll say it's pretty in Shitwood, but man, it's a hell of a name. I guess that's how you pronounce it. C-H-I-T. Shitwood, right? Shitwood Hollow. It's beautiful here. Again, this was all a really nice gravel. Think of your normal Forest Servicery road. It was that when we started out on this road here, and then now it's turned into this, which is pretty cool. Just another example of some of the trail that you're going to be going through on the Kentucky Adventure Tour. What's that? 8 of you? I'm gonna back up right here. It's just me. Oh, really? Alright. He said that I got an interesting ride going that way. So, that should be fun. They said there's about 8 of them. Interesting ride. Okay. They got an interesting ride going back the other way. These Jeep guys, man, they travel deep, buddy. I would probably advise mud terrains. Yeah. Especially if you're going during the rainy season, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I have not seen a non-rainy season here in the Southeast. It rains all the time, particularly up in these mountains, which is like a rainforest, if you will. So yeah, I'd recommend mud terrains. And it's funny because I've been a stickler for all terrains for a long time now. I just think that they're a really good option. They're a good all-around option, and I travel about 30 to 40,000 miles. Well, about 30,000 miles a year I've kind of averaged. And I love all terrains because you know they don't wear as quick, different things like that. But here, this trip has made me seriously reconsider my stance on all terrains, and I believe that my next tire choice is probably going to be with a mud terrain. I had debated it whenever I went with these all-terrains here, but ultimately I ended up going with the all-terrains, as you can see. But to do it all over again, I hate to say it, but I'm probably going to go with the mud terrains on the next go around. So leave a comment down below if you've got a favorite mud terrain. Obviously the KM3s are real popular. I've been looking at probably the General X3s. I really like General tires, plus they're made here, which is a big thing for me. A lot of people like the STT Pros, and I think there's one more, maybe the Firestones or something. But yeah, leave a comment down below. What's your favorite mud terrain, and what would you bring on this trip that is comprised so far of the slick, slimy mud, as well as some rocks and stuff like that. I don't do much snow driving, which I've heard the downfall to mud terrains is actually snow, so I don't do that for whatever that's worth. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it down into 4 low because I got the warning from that guy saying that it's a pretty interesting ride, and it looks like it's starting to get kind of gnarly, so I'm gonna go ahead and kick her down here and see what we got. That's the current situation. Up on that one, up on the left one, flex. Up on that one, up on the left one, flex again. Slide just a little bit, set me up for the next one. That's it, man. That's all it is. See that rock up there on the left? I'm gonna put my left wheel up on that. And that's how I go through these things the whole time. I know that that rock there on the left is probably gonna be just a little bit too much, so I'm gonna try to get it too. Alright. Ended up being just fine. He wasn't lying when he said this was an interesting route. Rocky, little rock garden action. This is where high clearance and skid plates really come in handy. Some nice 35s again would be ideal right here. But you know, the old goat apple here is just climbing right along. See that jagged rock right there? You want to miss stuff like that, you'll puncture your tire. And I'm just gonna go straight up through this thing right here and put my left wheel up on that rock, that tall rock over there, my right wheel on the tall rock over here. Left and right. There you go. Now I'm gonna put my left wheel on the lower side, the right wheel on the higher side. Pop up. Pop up. There we go. I'm gonna go down in this and flex a little bit. Come up. Come up. KDSS working. I'm gonna stay away from that rock on the left side, hopefully. And weave around the rock on the right side. This looks like it could get a little tricky. Let me get out and spot what's the best way to go about this. So I think the best way to go about this is I'm going to put my left wheel inside of that rut right there that you see, that little rut. And then I'm going to ride that left wheel all the way down through here, down into the rut is what I'm going to do. Otherwise, I possibly will slide down into it, and I don't want to do that again. Then I've still got to deal with that up there. But let's get through this first. All right, so I'm gonna have to come a little bit more to the right so I can pop up on that rock there. And I've got the ability to do that, so that's good.
Have you ever found yourself just yelling at the TV, telling whoever's on there to do something that you want them to do because you know that it'll work out for them? Well, I find myself here in editing doing just that at the screen, yelling at myself, telling myself that I should have backed up, gave it some gas, and bounced up over that rock like nothing to it. I don't know why I couldn't figure that out quicker in this situation, but right here, I should have just hammered it. Oh, and by the way, I am fully aware that with mud terrains, this wouldn't have been a problem at all. The problem is I cannot catch grip on this rock because everything's so muddy and all the tread in the tires is filled up. And that's why I should have just given her the beans and popped up over it. Right about here, I realized that I've now slid the truck into a position where I'll probably be able to clear it with the center of it, but as soon as I do that, it then becomes a problem with the back left. As you can see, this slimy ass mud is not helping out in the least. Finally, I get aggravated with it and do what I should have done the entire time, which is send it.
Man, that dude was not joking around. He was absolutely correct. It's an interesting ride, to say the least. Very technical, very nice, very rocky. I'd prefer rocks over muds any day, but when it's wet and still raining, the rocks get a bit slippery. Looks like once we get past this little obstacle here, we're gonna be good to go. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hug the right side here, try to miss that rock with the centerpiece, and then try to put the left wheel up on that. That's how we're gonna do it. Also, when it's rocky like this, you can use rocks. Like I just moved this one here, so that way I pop up before I hit the centerpiece on that. Use rocks to stack up to give you a little bit more clearance. It's a little extra effort, a little extra work, but in the long run it pays off. That noise is always terrifying, man. It really is. Let me show you what we're actually hitting, though. So if you notice, there's skids up at the very front. Then there's that cross member, which catches a lot. And then there's a skid all along the gas tank here. Also, sometimes you hit the diff, and sometimes you hit the exhaust right there. The diff is pretty strong. You can get a skid plate for it. The shock towers are a little bit more susceptible than the diff to damage, but the primary areas of concern are your oil pan as well as your fuel tank. Another opportunity here that I'm gonna wanna stack some rocks. Let me tell you why. If I don't, then I'm gonna catch on that rock right there, and that's a sharp one, so I don't wanna do that. Let's pop that bad boy right there, and that should give me just enough clearance to get up on there. Now we've got this, which is particularly challenging because, well, you got a big ass hole there. You don't want to go into that.
Sorry about these less than stellar camera angles. I had broken the piece to my tripod, so I had to literally set the camera down on the rocks on the ground.
Flawless victory. Man, I like it when shit goes like that. Pro tip, while I was navigating through those obstacles back there, I actually moved my mirrors down to where I could view the rear tires with them. The reason I wanted to do that is to make sure that I didn't fall off the trail with my back tires. So that's a good little tip there for you. Also, driver aids. I had multi-level terrain select on. I had the locking rear differential engaged, as well as I had the crawl control in some parts. So I use a combination of all of those, and you can think whatever you want to think about the driver aids, but my theory is they're there. They're there for a reason. They significantly help, and anytime you can gain the absolute most control of your vehicle, that's what you want to do. So that's why I use them. But those are the driver aids that I was using during that little spout back there. Oh, now this might be a bit interesting here, and the problem is well, I can't really bypass. I mean, you know what I mean? There's really no way to bypass this. Let me go look on the other side of this thing here. I'll take you guys. Pop up on this is going to be fine. Okay, all right, it's flat up there. That's good. So I just got to pop up there and pop up here, and then we're good to go. How'd that feel? Y'all almost caught a tire. All right, now we got another one up here. Let's see what this is all about. Honestly, I think the line is just to stay up on these rocks. That's what I think. Looks like some folks went over there, but yeah, I think it's just to stay up on the rock. So what I'll do is I'll stay to the left in this rut, if you will, with the right side up on that rock. I'll cross over and then get all the way up on that rock over there to avoid that trench. All right, let's put the plan in action. Put my left up on this rock, put my right up on that rock. Maybe a little off camber for a little bit, be okay. Put my left up on this other skinny rock here, right there. Bring it over, hop up here, a little bit more off camber to the right. It's gonna be okay. And follow it out. Like that. Well, we had to travel up rocks. I guess now it's our turn to travel down rocks. I don't know which is easier. Which one you like doing? You like to travel up or down them? Well, we got two sides we can choose over here. You got one that's off camber with a pretty large rut in it, and you got this one over here that gives me some rocks to climb up on. I'm gonna go up on these rocks. If I could stay out of the ruts, I prefer to, especially the ones that have big old rocks on the side of them, to where if you slide down into the rut, then you'll hit it. Now, if I have to ride a rut, then I'll just have to ride inside of the rut, not try to avoid the rut, particularly whenever it's wet like it is here. It's very wet. It's nice and sunny now, thankfully. Hopefully it dries the rest of the trail out some. All right, so right here's a bit interesting because of the slickness of this. I don't think that I'm gonna be able to stay over to the left here. So I'm gonna stay over to the right, and I'm just gonna try to basically straddle this rut here. And hopefully, no, I'm not gonna be able to do that. I was gonna say, hopefully I can climb up the wall a little bit and straddle it. Let's see. Okay. So that didn't work. So now I'm gonna try to go this way.
The reason that I didn't try this at first is, well, if you watch one of the earlier episodes, you see where I tried nearly in an identical maneuver, staying up high on the left-hand side on a cambered slope like this. I actually slid down into the rut, so I didn't want that to happen again, and, well, I'm risking it by coming up here, as you can see.
Just ride the rut. Come on, baby, ride the rut. Don't fall in that other one. Ride it. Ride it. Don't fall in the other one. Whew. Whew. Damn. Every time. I tell you, man. This trail. Damn. I've been up the back bumper a little bit on the left as I fell down into it, but as you can see, man, it's constantly evolving. Your lines, there's no one solid line to take. You just have to kind of have to feel it, man. And yeah, so crazy. So crazy. Realized something. I'm actually meeting a subscriber that messaged me and said that he was going to be in the area tonight in Tennessee. And I was thinking, I was like, man, you know, it's 5:45. It's about time to start looking for camp before it gets dark. So this is perfect timing. But then I look down at my phone, and my phone says that it is 4:45. And I just realized that we have crossed over to the Central Time Zone. So just thought that was kind of crazy. Sandwiched in between two 3rd gen 4Runners for this little journey here. So we're going about, I think he said something like 1.5 miles back into this forest area here is where he's got a campsite at. So that's where we're going to be camping for tonight. We got a off-road trail to get there. I was going to stop at the store to get some more inventory, but he said it was like a 30-minute drive to the store, so I'm out on that deal. That's the current situation. All right, so after 7.5 hours, I finally found camp. I hooked up with Charlie and Andrew. They both have 3rd gens that are badass with sweet little builds going on. Check out Charlie's setup here, huh?
It's a mess.
It is a little bit messy, but I mean, he uses it. They packed up to come up here to the lake. We're outside of Big South Fork, and pretty cool little campsite. Now, this dude, Andrew, though, brings out tiki torches to the party. And, you know, I'm not hating him for it, because I think these things right here are going to be a pretty nice touch today, especially with all the flying bugs. Puma's enjoying it so far. This gal here we haven't gotten to meet yet, but she's chilling out and enjoying it so far. But yeah, man, this is it. This is the spot for tonight. I'm actually cooking tonight. Let me show you what we got here. We got some Brussels sprouts that I boiled them up in this Stanley right here. Got a little boneless, skinless chicken thigh. Threw some oil down there. I'm about to fry them up. Yeah, man. Dude, I like this guy. This guy, Andrew, heard me crunch a can and brought another one. These are the type of friends you need in your life, really. So we're sitting around a fire. This is fire talk. And we were talking about how everybody feels that their setup is the best setup. And my thought process is that's probably the best thing about what we do, right?
Right.
Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. Charlie over here, he has packed everything, and I'm pretty sure the kitchen sink is inside of there somewhere.
It's over here.
Over here.
Over
Got
there.
it. So, but at the same time, if you need something, Charlie has got it. I mean, that's just how it is. Now, Andrew, he's got a basic setup, but he brought these tiki torches. And these tiki torches have actually been phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie to you. These tiki torches have kept the bugs away, and I thought, man, that's such a, because if you look at it, that's a significant piece. But what that brought us to was the fact that everybody has a different way. That's the big takeaway, right? Everybody's got a different way to do it, and it's all right.
You need to eat these brownies.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Sir William Goes on the Kentucky Adventure Tour. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure that you hit that like button. If you want to see more like it, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And until next time, peace!